As Johnny, my childhood friend, shoved my head into the toilet, vivid comments seemed to materialize before my eyes. He's the typical male lead insecure due to poverty who partners with the antagonist to torment the female lead only to desperately pursue her later. It's always the same, a simple apology from him, and the female lead instantly forgives. In that very moment, Anha realized she was the female lead in one of those dramatic, melodramatic tales. The male lead had only bothered her because he hadn't recognized his true feelings. Later, to prove she wasn't the one he truly cared about, he violently snatched away her assistive hearing device. Johnny believed Anha would forgive him, but she wasn't going to follow the old script anymore. When he once again threw her newly bought textbooks from the stairs, Anha suddenly felt utterly exhausted. For 3 years of high school, she had played a cat-and-mouse game with him. He'd toss her books, and she'd quietly retrieve them. He'd tear her homework, and she'd calmly repair it. Like a puppet incapable of anger, Anha emotionlessly played along with his harmful games. Consequently, he grew increasingly audacious. A few days prior, he hadn't even registered her desperate cries as he dragged her into the restroom. Anha was terrified of darkness due to childhood trauma, and he clearly knew it. Around them, people cheered, "The quiet girl is about to cry again." They placed bets on how long it would take her. Johnny, the ringleader, smirked, "Anha will cry in the next second." The mist in her eyes almost blurred her vision until lines of comments appeared. "The male lead is disgusting." What does being insecure because you're poor have to do with leading the bullying of the female lead? If the female lead forgives him later, she's truly disrespecting herself. The female lead will definitely forgive him. Isn't this the typical trope for these stories? Each comment brought Anha's thoughts into sharper focus. Past memories flickered before her eyes like a fast-forwarded film. She felt numb, heartbroken, realizing she was merely a part of this fabricated narrative. Anha pinched herself hard to suppress her tears, maintaining a calm demeanor. "Johnny, do you find this amusing? Either pick up my books now or buy me a new set." Johnny smirked, but his expression was incredibly unpleasant. "Anha, are you ill?" He turned and walked away, linking arms with his cronies, laughing. In the novel, Anha was hopelessly devoted to Johnny. No matter how much he bothered her, she wouldn't dare utter a word. He would fall for a beautiful new transfer student and torment Anha even more freely. They would conspire to isolate her scheme after scheme. Finally, utterly desperate, Anha transferred schools. After her departure, Johnny began to regret his actions, embarking on a painful journey of atonement and romantic pursuit. Most people paired them together, excitedly yelling, "Proud and stubborn childhood friend, ex-cute, strong, tragic female lead. Oh, I ship them to death." Some even advised, "Come on, Anha, they say a prodigal son's return is worth more than gold. The once arrogant and talented student has gone this far for you. What more do you want?" Because of this, Anha developed a deeply held belief that she was the only one who could make Johnny act like a normal person. They were intertwined for 7 years. Later, he looked at her with red eyes and said, "Anha, I truly did it because I like you." In the book, they had a perfect ending by popular standards. But now for Anha, that realization only brought extreme dread. Anha tried to avoid Johnny, but events continued to unfold. In physics class as usual, she raised her hand to answer a question. As soon as the teacher told her to sit down, her chair was violently kicked and her head struck the corner of the table. Blood immediately began to flow. Anha knew this was a warning from her childhood friend. Johnny frowned. "Anha, don't you know I despise him the most?" Of course she knew. The last time, simply because the physics teacher caught him climbing over the wall to skip class, he had held a grudge. But what did that have to do with her? It only proved his pettiness. Anha ignored him, calmly took out a bandage peeled off the wrapper and stuck it on her forehead. After school, she still had to go to Johnny's house to demand money for medicine. She was too busy to care about the preferences of a delinquent. For the first time, Johnny received no reaction from Anha. He was both annoyed and angry casually, throwing a crumpled piece of paper at her head. The soft paper fell gently and rolled on the floor. Anha merely glanced at it unconcerned and continued her homework. While the teacher wasn't looking, he snatched the pen from her hand. The sharp nib scraped her white shirt, leaving a black mark. Anha, I just spoke to you. Didn't you hear me? After saying that, he seemed to realize something and the smile on his lips deepened. Oh, I forgot you're hearing impaired. Never mind, I'll let you off this time, but if it happens again, I'll punish you. Before her eyes, comments like snowflakes appeared again. Does the male lead think he's cool doing that disgusting? Teenage boys who like a girl will try every way to get her attention. This is puppy love. My husband used to bother me like that too. Now we have 3 kids and a 4th on the way. What a precious little life she's destined for. 108 kids, ha ha! Anha took a deep breath, bent down to pick up the crumpled paper, then unexpectedly hurled it back hard at the person behind her. A clean, decisive move. The smile at the corner of Johnny's mouth instantly froze. This was the first time Anha had defied him. After school, Johnny waited until everyone left. He cornered Anha alone. His cronies beside him were excited. Brother Johnny, what method are you going to use to harass the quiet girl this time? Johnny leaned lazily against the doorframe, his voice casual. Grab her bag. As soon as they received the order, several male students immediately snatched Anha's bag despite the pain in her shoulder from his actions a few days ago. There wasn't much in the bag, a few books a case for her assistive hearing device and 2 packs of sanitary products. Everything in her bag was dumped out. When they saw the white sanitary products, everyone's eyes widened. Immediately after, a roar of mocking laughter erupted. I knew this class smelled bad. It turns out the quiet girl is on her period. Ugh, it smells like iron. How shameless to bring this into class. Aren't you afraid of getting everyone's study area dirty? Look at her pants. Ugh, it's all out. Oh, so dirty. It stained the seats. They pretended to hold their noses and wave their hands as if shooing something away, even though there was no smell at all. Some even bolder ones tore open the packaging of a sanitary product, revealing it completely to everyone's eyes. Someone poured their leftover cup of water onto it. Oh, my brother Johnny absorbs water so fast. Wow, that's really amazing. No wonder the quiet girl likes to use this stuff. Johnny saw that Anha showed no reaction. Finally, he walked up to her. Anha, if you don't listen next time, it won't just stop at searching your bag. As they prepared to leave, Anha quietly mouthed, Wait, I have something to give you. Everyone burst out laughing mockingly. Oh, the quiet girl wants to give brother Johnny a gift. Johnny acted as if he had already guessed it. He lazily lifted his eyelids and gave a sly smile. Anha, you like me a lot, don't you? You'll have to wait in line. The thought of liking him almost made Anha want to throw up on the spot. The classroom was on the east side. It only took a few steps to the left to reach the restroom. Anha slipped past Johnny, walked over, opened a random toilet stall, and quickly grabbed a plastic bucket. I like your mom. She poured all the foul contents of the trash can onto Johnny's head. He froze. The cronies behind him were also stunned. Under the force of gravity, several brown wads of paper and a string of used sanitary products slowly fell, covering half of his face. One timid person spoke up, Brother, Johnny, the trash in the bathroom is really too dirty. No one dared to reach out and remove it. They could only watch their Johnny fall backward. Johnny was knocked unconscious by the pile of trash on the spot, but Anha found it puzzling. How was he any different from these things? She was just helping him sort them. Anha was called in with her parents, facing the homeroom teacher's displeased expression. Her parents, however, were completely calm, as if nothing had happened. After waiting a long time for Anha to apologize, the homeroom teacher finally spoke each word, questioning her. Anha, you went too far, just checking a bag, and you poured a trash can over your classmate's head. You must stand in front of the class, be reprimanded, and apologize immediately. Beside him, Johnny's eyes were red, looking incredibly wronged. Anha, you've gone too far. I was just joking a bit. Did you need to do that? Don't forget I saved your life when we were little. Oh, in a flash, comments appeared before Anha's eyes again. The female lead is really tough. She should treat such garbage. But the male lead saved the female lead's life. Isn't the female lead being ungrateful for being so calculative? Yeah, I still prefer a gentle female lead. Anha tried to calm herself down, but whether it was what just happened in real life or the comments before her eyes, it all made her unable to breathe. Yes, in the original story, her life was indeed saved by him. But Anha also spent 5 years living in silence to repay Johnny. How many times had she endured bullying and just let it go? Wasn't that enough? The so-called life-saving incident was simply when a small car was about to hit her. He quickly stuck his leg out and tripped her. The car just happened to swerve past her head and drive away. He had bragged about it many times to people who didn't know the truth. Anha happened to overhear the truth he never mentioned. One time, Johnny drunk said Anha was about to die. Then, if I hadn't kindly tripped her, would she still be alive now? Haha, initially I was going to run, but that quiet girl kept following me, so I panicked and kicked her down. I didn't expect to save her. Although her head got a bit banged up, at least she's still alive, right? But if he hadn't stuck his leg out, then Anha would have been fine. She wouldn't have even suffered hearing damage and had to wear an assistive hearing device for the rest of her life. Now how dare he keep bringing it up? Her parents were about to speak, but Anha stopped them, shaking her head firmly. No apologies. I didn't do anything wrong. They were the ones who harassed me with words, called me dirty, called me smelly, and even stole my sanitary products. If I don't even dare to stand up for myself, who will? The homeroom teacher was surprised that someone who was always silent like Anha dared to contradict him. His expression immediately changed. You say they bothered you, Anha. Do you have proof? Defaming others can lead to jail time? Besides, Johnny didn't bother you, did he? He just hadn't seen sanitary products before, so he took them out to look. What's so serious about it? A long monologue seemed to want to morally corner Anha. The homeroom teacher even called a few other male students to ask if they saw her being bothered. They glanced at Johnny, then quickly gave consistent testimonies. No, Johnny. No, classmate Davin just borrowed classmate Anha's homework to look at. Yes, there was no bothering at all. Classmate Davin didn't do anything. After hearing that, Johnny's expression gradually improved. He thought, brotherhood truly comes first. The homeroom teacher also nodded in satisfaction. Anha's parents, you see... My father suddenly spoke, cutting off the homeroom teacher. The compensation should be done according to what my daughter says. No apologies. I don't think she did anything wrong. My mother immediately chimed in. In this classroom, there isn't even a single surveillance camera. Who knows what really happened? Isn't it all just based on your words? Classmate Min, right? The wound on your forehead looks serious. Go get it checked quickly before it heals. Anha almost couldn't hold back a laugh. Finally, her family paid for Johnny's medical expenses. According to her father, money was a small matter, but Anha couldn't be wronged. She nodded vigorously, feeling lucky that her parents always loved her unconditionally. It's just that she had always kept her pain hidden and only talked about the good things so they couldn't know everything that had happened to her. Anha wouldn't let those silly scenes from her dream recur in real life. Not long after that, the beautiful transfer student from the novel appeared. Amelie had silky black hair, red lips, and pearly white teeth. Her enchanting beauty stood out. She was completely different from the other students in the school who were still dusty and messy. As soon as she transferred, Amelie was hailed as the class beauty by the male students. Hello, everyone. I'm Amelie. Please take care of me from now on. The girls who liked to make themselves pretty gathered around her chattering, but only Anha stared at her, feeling a chill in her heart. Amelie looked like a sweet and innocent girl on the outside, but she was actually wild and unrestrained. No matter how many boys actively pursued her, Her eyes always followed Johnny's indifference and arrogance. Sensing her intense gaze, Johnny pretended to be cool, subtly smirking. The two of them began to exchange glances and affections. According to the novel's plot, Amelie would, out of jealousy, make Anha drink dirty water, take photos of her body with no clothes on, corner her in an alley after school. In fact, many of the ideas for bothering Anha came from Amelie, who suggested them to Johnny. In math class, Johnny used the tip of his pen to poke Anha's back, ordering, "Anha, give this paper to Amelie." It hurt so much, Anha took a sharp, cold breath. Ever since she poured the trash can on his head, Johnny had become even more troublesome, because he was seen as the victim. No one would scrutinize the mistakes of someone considered a victim, even if he was the one who started everything. Seeing that Anha still hadn't moved, annoyance clearly showed on his face. He continued to press the sharp tip of the pen hard into her back, as if stabbing a sponge. "Hurry up, I said you're hearing impaired. Are you really hearing impaired?" The area where he poked her began to turn red and ache. Anha followed the force of his poke, gritting her teeth, pushing herself hard against the pen, then deliberately trembled her shoulders and burst into sobs. "Ah, I'm sorry. I'll immediately give the paper to the class beauty." Johnny's face turned pale. No, that's not it." Everyone in the class turned around to look, their eyes full of surprise. Everyone knew Johnny always bothered Anha, but no one expected him to be so unrestrained, even in class. The teacher frowned and asked, "Anha, what happened?" While answering, Anha quietly scratched a few more wounds on her back, making the blood flow faster. The blood soaked her shirt, almost turning it completely red. Seeing this, the teacher immediately asked the class monitor to take her to the infirmary. Although the injury wasn't serious, Johnny's actions seriously disrupted the class order. He was given a warning and confined to school, even having to apologize to Anha in front of the whole class. That was the proof the homeroom teacher always wanted. Now wasn't there enough proof? Anha took advantage of the chaos to run out of school. Amelie stopped her in a small alley. Beside her were a few girls with strangely dyed hair. You could tell at a glance they weren't good people. Amelie stomped her foot hard against the wall, her demeanor completely opposite to her gentle and obedient image at school. "Who gave you permission to report Johnny, huh? You just had to pass a piece of paper. Your fake innocent act is disgusting." Anha knew Amelie liked Johnny, the type who fell in love at first sight. So whoever Johnny disliked, she disliked too. Amelie was convinced that Anha was the one who feigned innocence, causing the person she liked to be punished by the teachers. She brought these people to teach Anha a lesson, but Anha wasn't a punching bag for anyone to hit as they pleased. Ever since she knew her unfortunate fate in advance, Anha asked her parents to hire a private coach to teach her self-defense. After just a few moves, Amelie not only gained nothing but was hit by Anha's elbow several times. She was furious but couldn't do anything. Can't you guys hold her arms and legs tighter? Sorry, sis, I'm as agile as a little pig. No one can touch me, even a thread. Johnny heard the commotion and ran over just in time to see his female lead screaming wildly. Amelie, Hearing Johnny's voice, Amelie suddenly stumbled and fell into his arms at just the right moment. If the distance had been a little more, her head might have hit the ground. Johnny instinctively wanted to push her away, but unexpectedly met Anha's eyes. He smiled, letting Amelie cling to him, acting spoiled. Classmate Min, look, I just wanted to get justice for you, but Anha has no compassion. Look how much it hurts. Amelie pointed to a faint red scratch on her face. If you didn't use a magnifying glass, you couldn't even see it clearly. Yet Johnny, this flashy guy, actually liked this type. His face was cold, his voice heavy. Anha apologized to Amelie. The incident this afternoon hasn't even been settled with you, and now you're causing trouble again. You're truly a troublemaker. I shouldn't have saved you in the first place. Anha sighed. Again? Don't you get tired of repeating that every time? Amelie, knowing the full story, immediately bristled and scolded. Anha, If it weren't for classmate Min, you'd be dead. Now you're defaming him. Anha, you've gone too far. Johnny's expression didn't change as he calmly said, "Oh, forget it. She's just an ungrateful person. Someone like her deserves to be hearing impaired for life." The two immediately began sweet-talking each other, comforting each other with many words. Anha pointed to the surveillance camera at the end of the alley and smirked. "Are you two planning to wait for the police?" "Sorry, I already called them. Keep these sickening arguments to tell them." After saying that, they both turned and ran away without a trace of hesitation. At the beginning of the month, it was time to distribute stipends for impoverished students again. Johnny seemed incredibly annoyed. This meant that his identity as a poor student would once again be known by those with malicious intentions. He didn't want to admit it, but still openly accepted the 1,000 yuan monthly stipend. Johnny's family used to be Anha's neighbors when they were in elementary school. He once promised to be her guardian and protect her. Both of them, one due to poverty and one due to hearing impairment, were seen as different. The children back then didn't understand what bullying was. They just disliked them deeply. They were isolated and harassed. Whenever someone tried to bother Anha, Johnny would stubbornly stand in front of her. "Don't bother little Anha." He used to be beaten badly. Anha thought he would always be so brave, but in just a few short years, Johnny had become a completely different person. He started leading the efforts to harass her, becoming the leader of a group of troublemakers who just loafed around. A weak person, when they become strong, the first person they target is often their former comrade in arms. Anha didn't want to believe it. Every day she'd run to his house once, and that made her old friend unhappy. "If there's a next time, Anha, I'll hit you." Anha ran away in a panic. In high school, Johnny and Anha were in the same class. Now he needed more money. His mother was a seasonal worker at a construction site, earning only 80 yuan a day. Even without a day off, she only earned about 2,000 yuan a month. She alone couldn't support a high school student. Under the pressure of life, Johnny's mother quickly couldn't bear it. "Little Johnny, your mom heard that your school has stipends for poor students. Why don't you try applying?" She lay weakly on the bed in pain because her back was dislocated. Johnny immediately got angry when he heard that. "I don't want to. Then everyone will know my family's poor. They'll bother me." In elementary school, he was despised for being poor. Now having to bow down and ask for a family stipend was even more impossible. So, his mother came to Anha. "Little Anha, after all little Johnny saved you before. Can you help out? Auntie is begging you." Her eyes were red and full of injustice. Anha softened and agreed, but also brought Johnny's resentment upon herself. He locked her in a smelly public restroom, hid her assistive hearing device. "Anha, do you really think you're a savior? Don't interfere in my business anymore." Anha was immersed in endless darkness, unable to hear or see crying until her eyes were red and her voice was hoarse, stimulated by the foul smell to the point of nausea and vomiting. From then on, Anha swore to herself that she would never meddle in others' affairs again. Moreover, Johnny might talk big, but Anha never saw him miss out on the stipend for poor students. Even when spending money, there was no discomfort in his eyes. He didn't want others to know his family's true situation, but openly used the school's stipend money. Every time he received money, Johnny would take his close friends out for lavish meals and entertainment. The remaining money he used to live a short, luxurious life. Slowly, without anyone realizing it, his image as a rich young master gradually built up in class. There was another female student in class whose family situation was very difficult. Her parents had both passed away, and Lucy was raised by her grandmother until today. Her frugal days, just enough to be full and warm, made her extremely insecure. In the noisy classroom, the homeroom teacher knocked on the door and said, "Mai-on, come to the office for a moment." Mai-on's face immediately turned red, and she hesitantly stood up. Several male students beside her maliciously chuckled. Oh, the poor student is going to get money again. 1,000 yuan. Aren't you rich now? Treat us to a meal this afternoon. Okay, don't talk nonsense. She'll probably spend it all on herself. 1,000 yuan, can she spend it all? For a normal high school student, 1,000 yuan was indeed generous, but Mai An's grandmother usually only earned money by removing nails 5 cents for one nail, 50 cents for 10 nails. They lived in the countryside, paying for electricity, water, transportation, books, dormitory fees, food. Not to mention, Mai An's grandmother was sick and had to go to the hospital every month. With such expenses, almost nothing was left. Lucy clenched her fists several times, but finally resignedly let go. Eventually, her eyes red, she ran out of the classroom. Emily turned around and angrily threw the trash in her hand at the male student who had just spoken. "What nonsense are you talking about? Don't make fun of others. They just have financial difficulties. They didn't commit murder or arson. On what grounds do you look down on them?" Her gentle arm's strength looked no different than playful teasing. Emily's words received sincere gratitude from the female students. The male student smiled brightly, caught the trash, and pretended to boast bringing it to his nose and sniffing it a few times. The class beauty is right. Everyone don't laugh anymore. Girls have fragile souls. Be careful not to hurt their delicate hearts. Emily blushed, puffed out her cheeks, pretending to be angry. "I won't talk to you guys anymore. You're really annoying." The male student lightly pulled her high ponytail and turned to Johnny. "Johnny's sister-in-law is angry. Go comfort her." Fredim. Although Johnny never spoke, these boys naturally regarded Emily as his girlfriend. After all, they had personally seen their Johnny pick up and drop off the class beauty from school. Unexpectedly, Johnny didn't say anything. He just quietly fell into thought. The smile that had been on Emily's lips slowly faded. Anha understood what he was thinking. He was thinking of a way to avoid the crowd and secretly go get the stipend himself, but he wouldn't get his way, because Anha, coincidentally, met Lucy outside just as she was afraid of Johnny and didn't dare to convey the teacher's message to him. So Anha took on this glorious task. "Johnny, if you're truly noble, then give this stipend for poor students to those who truly need it." Anha gently poked Johnny with one finger, saying seriously, "The teacher said for you to come get the poor student stipend immediately." The usually noisy classroom suddenly became quiet. Others bowed their heads, pretending not to hear anything, but in reality they were all pricking up their ears. Hearing that, Johnny's eyes flashed with panic. He gritted his teeth and threatened, "Anha, what did you say? Say it again. Is this person crazy?" "You're the one with ear problems, not him." Anha intentionally repeated it again, clearly, word for word. "The teacher told you to go to the office to get the poor student stipend." "Johnny, did you hear clearly?" Her answer was a strong denial, pretending to have nothing to do with him. Johnny's voice was cold. "I'm not a poor student, Anha. You've got the wrong person." Those around them swallowed hard, reluctantly, chiming in. "Yeah, you hearing-impaired person, Brother Johnny, is a rich young master. You can't hear, but you have eyes. Don't spread false rumors here." Even Emily, who always sided with the girls, looked at Anha in surprise. "Anha, you can't just say classmate Devindi's a poor student because he bothered. Don't you know how much psychological harm that will cause?" As if thinking of something, she angrily added, "Anha, you've gone too far. Is it because classmate Davin gave me a ride home last time, and not you? So you're angry?" Her tone was clearly boasting, as if to say, "See, he doesn't care about you." Anha took a deep breath. "Excellent. No one believes Johnny is a poor student. So I calmly said, 'All right then, I must have heard wrong. In that case, this stipend will be saved for those who truly need it. There are still many truly difficult families in school, like Mayan's family, for example. If Johnny doesn't want to accept it out of pride, others still need it.'" With Anha's embellishments, the homeroom teacher was furious. Without a word, he decided to transfer the stipend to another student in the class. Johnny was so angry he wanted to spit blood but couldn't show it. Moreover, thinking about the welcome party that evening, he was even more miserable and couldn't say a word. The boast he had made was out there. Now it was up to him to figure out how to escape this situation. Anha didn't expect Johnny to secretly look for her. After all, they had just had a fight. Johnny snatched Anha's bag, rummaged through it, and found a few hundred yen. Finally, he breathed a sigh of relief. He looked at her coldly. Anha, it's all your fault for being a busybody. If not, I wouldn't have lost the stipend. Consider this your compensation for me. After all, your family has plenty of money. After saying that, he threw Anha's bag on the ground. The wallet with loose change was also thrown away by him. Anha was stunned. Didn't you say you didn't want it? Now you're blaming me. You're really good at pretending. The 3 words, good at pretending, seemed to stab directly into his sensitive nerves. Johnny froze, his eyes red, staring at her like a wild animal that had identified its prey. Anha, say that again. Anha said, a cough, cough. He grabbed Anha's throat and roared, Anha, don't refuse a good offer, or you'll get a harsher punishment. This time he wasn't holding back. Anha struggled to hit Johnny's arm, wanting him to let go, but he was determined to teach her an unforgettable lesson. Someone saw it and rushed over to pull him away. Johnny, stop. Stop. She's just a hearing-impaired kid who can't hear other people's names clearly. It's normal. Don't hold it against her. When Kite fell. Just as Anha was about to pass out, Johnny finally let go. She fell to the ground, gasping for air. After everyone comforted him, someone jokingly blurted out, Johnny, why do you always bother Anha? Do you like her? Ha ha. This person probably just wanted to ease the tense atmosphere. But when they saw Johnny's warning gaze, they quickly bowed their heads. No one dared to say anything more. Johnny felt sick to his stomach, getting goosebumps. Like Anha, that quiet girl, even if there was only one woman left in the world, I would never like her. From the corner of the stairs, Amelie, who had been quietly following, suddenly burst into tears. David, Johnny, today in front of everyone, you have to tell me clearly. Do you like Anha? Why do you always have to be involved with her? She was already beautiful, and now crying like that made her even more heartbreaking. Johnny ignored Anha's taunts and just held her, comforting her over and over again, as if he was used to these games. Anha turned to leave, but was grabbed by his other hand, holding her wrist tightly. Anha, today, I have to make it clear to you. I, Johnny, have never liked you. Not before, not now, and certainly not in the future. Please don't ruin our relationship anymore. Anha froze, unable to stop herself from blurting out, You fools! Amelie cried even louder. The next moment, as if to prove something, Johnny slapped Anha hard. The slap landed perfectly on her assistive hearing device on her left ear. That small device immediately attracted all his attention. Immediately after, Johnny violently pulled out Anha's assistive hearing device and crushed it under his foot. Don't you get annoyed wearing this fake thing every day? To prevent others from damaging her assistive hearing device, sometimes Anha would only wear a fake one to mislead people. From the first time he confiscated her assistive hearing device, Johnny had known this habit. He was convinced that today Anha was also just wearing a fake shell. His powerful action made those around him cheer nonstop. But that wasn't a fake. That was the latest model assistive hearing device worth 200,000 yen. Anha deliberately didn't dodge, but the moment Johnny snatched her assistive hearing device, her head throbbed and her ears and face hurt so much she couldn't bear it. A warm liquid flowed down her cheek. Blood continuously poured from her ear, as if nothing could stop it. Everyone around was terrified, pointing at Anha, then scattering and running away. Her strength was exhausted, and she collapsed on the spot, but that was exactly what she wanted. When Anha woke up, she was at the provincial hospital. Her parents cried uncontrollably. They asked her if she could still hear. She didn't know what they were saying. She could only confusedly clench her fingers. Seeing this, the doctor concluded that her hearing was severely damaged and required surgery. Her father, with trembling hands, wrote on a piece of paper and told her, "Be good, my child. If you feel uncomfortable, tell your father." Anha closed her eyes, tears streaming down her face uncontrollably. The teachers from school came to visit her, bringing everyone who was there that day to apologize. One by one they cried, miserably, pulled her hand, and repeatedly said kind words, but no one mentioned a word about compensation or her health condition. Even Johnny's mother knelt before Anha, kowtowing repeatedly as if her life depended on it. But it was all just to beg for forgiveness for her son. Little Anha auntie begs you don't call the police. Little Johnny is still young. What will happen if he goes to jail? Auntie is so emotional, she pointed to herself. You can punish Auntie. Okay. Auntie will pay with her life for you. Auntie will cut off her ears and give them back to you. Please, little Anha. Anha looked around. She didn't see the one who caused all this, the person who made her life a joke, not appearing at all. So Anha asked, "Where is Johnny?" Her eyes scanned everyone. Their faces clearly showed embarrassment. Thinking about it, it was true. How could he think he was wrong? But if she didn't receive an apology from Johnny, Anha firmly stood her ground and would definitely call the police. The teachers panicked, and those male students also became flustered. They successively took out their phones to contact the one who was hiding, but all calls went unanswered. The police found Johnny at a recycling yard. Emily wasn't with him. Someone asked him, but he stubbornly refused to say anything. With no other option, the police had to escort him to Anha's hospital bed. After a few days, Johnny had become disheveled, no longer looking human. He stubbornly held his head high. Anha, it's my fault. I'm sorry. Okay, please don't make my family compensate anymore. Okay. My mother is old and can't earn money. I'm from a single-parent family and still have to go to school. I beg you. Then he gritted his teeth as if accepting his fate. Didn't you like me? I'll marry you later. I beg you forgive her. This has nothing to do with Emily. He repeated in Anha's ear. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to. It was just accidental. Of course, the most important thing was that he didn't have to regret hurting her. He just had to take responsibility. Just had to pay that huge compensation. As expected, a worthless person will always be a worthless person. Finally, he regretted it, but what he regretted was only that he had gone too far. After a long absence, comments appeared before Anha's eyes again. What's happening? Why did it go from chasing his wife to revenge? Female lead, please forgive the male lead. The male lead's mother is so pitiful. Get out. First insulting the female lead as cheap, now wanting the female lead to be a saint. I suggest sending everyone who thinks the male lead is pitiful to be the female lead. Yes, this revenge story is so satisfying. He already hurt her with violence. What's left to love? Forgiving like this isn't it. Stockholm Syndrome. Support the female lead. The comments flew by. Anha's parents didn't listen to Johnny. They punched and kicked him away. Seeing the situation getting serious, Anha quickly told them to stop. Word for word, she said, whether you apologize or not doesn't matter, but there must be compensation, 200,000, not a penny less. And I will sue Johnny for emotionally harming me for a long time at school. The apology was too cheap. It could only insult his self-respect. What Anha wanted was to make him unable to recover. Johnny was the mastermind who harmed Anha, and the others just didn't stop him. Therefore, Johnny committed the crime of intentional injury and went to prison serving a 5-year sentence. 5 years later, Anha also graduated from college. He always refused to say a word about Emily's whereabouts. When Anha visited him, Johnny bowed his head, not daring to look her in the eye. It's nothing. Anha took out her phone and played a video of Emily. In the video, she wore a revealing short dress, dancing energetically in a club. Occasionally, Emily would blow a kiss to a few men. The more Johnny watched, the worse his expression became. Fake it must be fake! He frantically slammed against the prison glass, trying to snatch Anha's phone. Unfortunately, he was inside and couldn't touch her. Anha zoomed in on each frame of Emily being intimate with other people. Johnny, don't you think that if you give her all your money, she'll be grateful to you? Then Anha played an audio recording of Emily's voice. Who likes him? If it weren't for him being the leader of a rich and handsome group, I wouldn't have even bothered. I didn't expect his rich kid identity to be fake, and he even got charged. Someone hesitantly advised her, "After all, he just wanted to prove it to you." Emily laughed loudly. "Prove it, don't make me laugh. He clearly wanted to bother Anha. Don't drag me into this. It was 20,000 yen. Luckily, he stole 20,000 from his house. Otherwise, I wouldn't have known where to get money to go out." Hearing this, Johnny's face turned pale with fury, roaring that he would tear that despicable woman to shreds. 20,000 yuan was all of his mother's savings, something they had bravely earned over a long time. Anha shook her head and continued to show him his mother's current situation. 20,000 yen, not much, not little. A monthly salary of 3,000 won, a yearly salary of 36,000 won. 6 years of not eating or drinking might be enough to save up. But 6 years was too long, even longer than his son's prison sentence. She couldn't wait. So day after day, she did odd jobs carrying cement at construction sites. Finally, her frail body couldn't bear it anymore and was crushed by a large wooden plank breaking her back. She lay in bed until now and would never be able to stand up again. Johnny went completely insane. Each punch landed hard on the glass in front of him. "It's all your fault, Anha, I won't forgive you." He almost used all his strength. His bloody hands dripped each drop of blood spreading on the floor like vibrant flowers. Why does no one say they like his stubbornness now? Probably because it's too terrifying. Anha thought so too. "Okay, the dog's already in the water, and I've hit him enough. It's time to go back and prepare for surgery." Anha pretended to have hearing loss. Johnny's slap did damage her auditory system, but not to the point of complete destruction. To be safe after recovering, Anha had already moved her assistive hearing device from her left ear to her right ear. The assistive hearing device in her left ear was never used from beginning to end. If you want to completely erase someone's existence, make the incident so big that no one can ignore it. Johnny crushed Anha's assistive hearing device, and his bothering and insulting her were undeniable facts. Initially, Anha didn't intend to care about Johnny's mother, but on second thought, if he really sought revenge on her after getting out of prison, she wouldn't be able to defend herself. Moreover, when Anha was little and got hurt, only his mother put medicine on her. Anha sighed and found someone to take care of her for the 5-year period. When Anha left, his mother cried and held on to her regretfully, saying, "Little Anha, if you were my daughter-in-law, how wonderful it would be. Then I wouldn't have to pay back the money, right?" Anha quickly pushed her hand away, resolutely cutting off all ties with Johnny. "Auntie, please take care of yourself from now on. I never liked Johnny. Not before, not now, and not in the future." 5 years later, Anha graduated from college and started working at her father's company. She no longer had any contact with Johnny, who had just been released from prison, or Emily, who spent all her time at clubs. Anha only heard that Emily got drunk one night and was secretly attacked, breaking her leg. The person who was providing for her was furious and sent her back to where she came from. Johnny's mother had no one to take care of her and soon became seriously ill and passed away. For a moment, Anha felt nothing but lingering sorrow. Her hearing had also improved a lot, but sometimes she still couldn't distinguish between noise and people's voices. Those malicious comments seemed to have disappeared because of Anha's actions. Sometimes in her dreams, in the middle of the night, Anha heard a voice sending blessings. "Live well on the path you want to walk. Live well. Anha is lucky. She has already walked that path." The doctors from leading medical institutions, after learning about Anha's condition, created a series of rehabilitation plans. If followed diligently, the chance of returning to normal is very high. Anha nodded, tears welling up in her eyes. From now on, she will no longer be seen as different or a person with a disability in the eyes of others. It's wonderful. Anha also doesn't have to share a bed with someone who once bothered her. Even better, outside of Johnny, she shouldn't have talked about her like that. But recently, Anha has really been disobedient. Anha doesn't know why. She really wants to ask her, but the way she looks at Anha is like looking at a stranger. Before, she clearly depended on Anha, never got angry with her, never said anything excessive. Then Anha suddenly told me, Johnny, I will never like someone who bothers me. She said it very confidently. Anha panicked. That crying girl who looked as cute as a little rabbit said she hated me so much. Why did she notice? Clearly Anha and she are childhood friends. Why does she always look down on Anha? When she helped Anha, Anha was really happy, but my cronies all collectively complained for me. There was nothing else I could do. I could only punish her a little. On TV and school novels, don't they all say that girls often like the person who bothers them? Anha thought so too. Anyway, Anha bothered her because she cared about her. She should understand that, right? Someone joked that Anha liked me. Yes, I do like her, but how could I let others know a girl with no advantages and who is also hearing impaired? So Anha slapped her. Outside of Johnny, Anha had a very long dream. In her dream, Anha liked him. He was fascinated. He kept bothering Anha, causing her to transfer schools. From then on, his life was without her. Only then did a slow-witted person like him realize that he liked Anha. He, Johnny, liked Anha, and she, as he wished, became his wife. But Anha's mental state seemed to no longer be normal. It's okay. He didn't control her. He would use his whole life to heal her. The dream ended. After being released from prison, he went to find her. Anha resolutely denied any past or present lives. Are you crazy? What's our relationship? Of course, it's a debtor-creditor relationship. 2,000 yen, please pay me quickly. My mother is gone, but it's okay. I will inherit Anha's father's company and become a billionaire. Anha, where are you? Give me back the good life I was supposed to have. Johnny was like a soulless corpse walking alone on the road. He no longer had a home, no longer had parents, becoming truly alone. A few days later, a frozen male body was found at the foot of a bridge, attracting everyone's attention. He had no residence, no relatives, alone, immersed in the most beautiful dream. What did you think of Anha's journey of strength and resilience? Share your thoughts in the comments below for Eastern Love Lies.